C for comfortable, C for convincing. South Africa have broken the jinx. They've won their first semi-final and are through to the finals of the T20 World Cup. They're just one win away from becoming C for champions. South Africa, I'm sure, is going to be elated. They have won by 9 wickets. They didn't have too much to chase, and they managed to do this very comfortably in 8.5 overs. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I've got Zach and Michael with me. Very easy, very comfortable, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa can't believe it. I mean, they've played a very professional game. The pitch has been perfect for their style of play. You know, I think all the talk pre-match was about South Africa's semi-finals. Could they cope with it? Well, they've not even got us to a stage of thinking, oh, wait a minute, there could be a bit of a problem here. They've just blown Afghanistan away. I mean, Afghanistan just haven't arrived.
Yes.
They arrived late and they've just not arrived to play the game. They've got a pitch that was very, very tricky and difficult. But full credit to South Africa. They go to a final. They've yet to be beaten in the tournament. They can get to Barbados. They can get a bit of prep in, and they can start to plan for either England or India. It's been a very, very impressive display.
Zach, sticking to South Africa, aggression, intent, that's how you play a semi-final, isn't it?
Yeah, it just went perfectly for them, isn't it? No complaints. It was comfortable. Bowling effort was just superb. And then that set the tone. After that, even though they lost the early wicket today, maybe with the new ball, we felt it was just a reflection of, okay, how the pitch was. And still a comfortable run chase, just 60 to get.
Yeah, 60 to get, and no nerves at all, considering we saw the pitch do a little bit. Afghanistan would be feeling, you know, if only we had gotten 110, we could have made a game out of this, but they really had lost the game when they went out and batted.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 110 could have been tricky, but I just think South Africa on this kind of surface against the Afghanistan bowlers that have managed to find a way of chasing something like 130, 140. I just think South Africa look like a team. I'm really impressed by the captain. I just think he's got a real good presence about him. He's got good thought process. He's not a one-trick pony. I guess historically South Africa, the criticism of them, they've always played a professional game, but a kind of one-dimensional game. They've never been out of the box thinking. But I think Aiden Markram's brought a little bit of that out of the box thinking. The way that he changed his bowlers against the West Indies. Bowled a lot more spin against the West Indies. Today he went straight to his seamers. Shamsi got a couple, but I just like the way that he's operating this team. And you can, I spoke to Zach about Eric Simons, who's obviously part of the South African group, was part of your World Cup winning team in 2011, CSK. I think he's a real calming figure in this team. I think he's got all the experience, and you can always say, I always judge and look at the dugout. When they're all sat in the dugout, who sits with who, and I noticed that Aiden Markram sits next to Eric Simons a lot, and maybe he's just the father figure of the whole group and calming them down. But they've got a good squad, they've got a good team, and I guess in a semi-final, you wake up and you're thinking, oh, you're going to have to play great cricket to win, and you always think it's going to go to the wire because you're playing a good team in a semi-final. That is dreams. To be able to get the semi-final done with no real panic, no pressure. Just get the job done. Bowlers and players are rested. They've hardly played really much cricket today, and they've got and Reza Hendricks got 29 not out. So it's the absolute perfect day for South Africa, and now they get on that plane, get to Barbados, and try and do it one more time.
Zach, you know, talking about Reza Hendricks, 29, we spoke about this in the mid-match show as well. We said that's the only tick mark they need. They need him to get some runs, 29 or 25, and then Markram with 23 of 21. So that's just what South Africa wanted.
Yeah, it's about getting the job done. And that's what South Africa have been doing right throughout this tournament. You know, whatever was the situation, they just found a way of getting to that. Today, bowlers made it very easy for them. And, you know, just about a perfect day for someone like Reza Hendricks to get into his innings, get some runs under his belt. And so is Markram. You know, there was that DRS review. They should have gone for the caught behind one. Yeah, just small little things going South Africa's way. Yeah. I think that's how the tournament have been so far for them. So Reza Hendricks getting runs is certainly going to boost his confidence. And for the finals now, everything is pretty much going to be going to the plan, isn't it? Like how Michael is also saying, there's hardly any time in between games. But now, because of a game which has happened in this fashion, you get extra time as well to just kind of get into the zone, maybe, switch off a little and then enjoy this evening's game also for them.
You know, Michael, as a cricket fan, you wake up at 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning, you come to watch this big semi-final. As a fan, I would have liked a better pitch. Where do you stand with this?
Oh, the pitch was a shocker. Absolute shocker. I mean, we've seen some poor pitches in New York. You can kind of understand New York dropping pitches. It's a pop-up stadium. There's no excuse for a pitch like that. The Brian Lara Stadium, and we saw a wicket where it was where the quick bowler from, give me his name, from New Zealand got 4 overs, 3 for none on this same venue. Lockie Ferguson, I've got him now. So it's not a great pitch. I just think everything around this week, I just don't understand how you go through a whole tournament, a World Cup, and then you kind of squash the most important games into a few days with no preparation. And there's no excuses for a pitch because it's had plenty of time to prepare, and it's just it's not a great surface. It's not the pure pitch that you'd want for a semi-final, but South Africa won't be complaining because that's exactly the kind of pitch that you'd want to play Afghanistan on.
But Zach, the great Brian Lara, would he have liked to play a semi-final of a World Cup on a pitch like this?
Well, look, I mean, that's how the game goes, isn't it? The conditions and the surface is not in your control. Both the teams, they look to adapt, isn't it? Like once, it is what it is. But the nature of the pitch, yes, could have been better. There's no doubt about that. The preparation, that has been the story of this World Cup, isn't it? You've seen low-scoring games. You've seen two-paced pitches. All those kind of things has not helped this format. In this format, people like to see the batters dominating, but conditions have been challenging. Maybe. Also to do with the time zone as well, isn't it? Like half the games, especially if you are in this time zone in India, you kind of were missing these morning games, as you're rightly saying that, by the time you start your day, the match is over. So those kind of things have been happening. So it was difficult to keep track of the matches. Certain games actually you didn't end up watching. Only the evening games, pretty much you've been watching. India has been getting that slot of evening games, which is the morning game for them there, which is not an easy thing to do. Also, morning and evening games is something which doesn't help. Usually, you've seen in a tournament, you like to have that consistency for even the fans to follow the games.
Yes.
Okay, 8 o'clock in the evening, that's where the matches start. Or be it morning, like, if they had stuck to one pattern, it would have been beneficial for everyone, I guess. It wasn't the case, but we're almost finishing the tournament. We'll see how it goes.
Well, this morning, I think it was done and dusted for Afghanistan in the power play itself when South Africa took to the attack, which is what brings us to our achiever of the day, powered by College Dekho Banayenge India Ka Kal, and that is Marco Jansen, because he came in. He's a tall left armer. Zach, I'll go to you first. Was very, very impressive today. What impressed you the most about him? Because we know the advantage he has with that 6'8" when he comes and bowls, and the bounce of the pitch today.
Yeah, not a normal height for anyone to face, isn't it? But look, this cricketer is shaping into a really good all-rounder, I would say. He's got ability with the bat, ability with the ball. Still figuring out exactly what it takes to be successful and to be consistent at this level. You've seen the performances and the understanding of this format as well. With the ball, he's getting that clarity, and that clarity is visible with the field placement which he's setting now.
Yes.
Otherwise, you've seen for a tall bowler at times he doesn't really use that to his advantage. Which is getting that extra bounce. He usually looks to go fuller, and if batters are putting him under pressure, then he doesn't know what to do. But he's slowly figuring it out. Still early days for him at the international level with the right guidance and experience. he's gonna be a force to reckon with. There's no doubt about that at the international level.
Well, Zach, it was you who chased him down in 2021 for MI. So we know that you have the knack to pick these boys up young and spot talent very young. But Michael, today after the game, he said, we just wanted to stick to our plan. So clearly they had a very correct plan in place, and that's what he wanted to execute. He's also spoken about how Markram is like a calming effect on him. He said that he's one of the best captains he's played with, and how he makes him feel very calm when he goes out to bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I guess South Africa have historically always been known for good plans, and planning is a huge part of T20 cricket, 50-over cricket, Test match cricket. But you can see with Jansen that he's got this clear strategy. He's now got a bit of experience behind him. He's been playing for a few years now. He's been around the South African group for a number of years, so he probably feels very, very comfortable. And he's got a captain beside him that obviously gives him a huge amount of belief. And, he's got the skill. We saw today he got the movement, and he pretty much broke open the game with those early wickets. To get 5 wickets in the power play, historically, I don't think there's been many games won when you lose 5 in the power play. So it's usually 3 in the power play, and you don't win many from 3, but to lose 5, it's pretty much game over inside the first 6, and it's to do with that quality that he brought, pace, bounce, and the move. And he got a nice pitch to bowl on, so no surprise that he produced some magic today.
Well, it will be a special day for him. He'll remember it for a long time to come, because he's helped South Africa go to their first T20 World Cup final. If you also want right career guidance, then visit collegedekho.com. Banayenge India Ka Kal. From Jansen, who was very impressive. Let's talk about the other bowlers for South Africa who kind of just were the reason why South Africa have won this semi-final. Rabada, to start with, he's just there on point, bowling exactly where he wants to. He's got that accuracy. We saw that again today, Zach.
Yeah, he's a quality bowler, and his form is going to be very, very important for South Africa in the finals as well. He's a big occasion player as well. You've seen it over the years. He enjoys the big occasion and to make that impact. So Rabada, how he goes on about doing his business in the finals is something which everyone will be very keenly watching from South Africa's point of view. Today also he was spot on, right on the money. Hitting those lengths, bowls those test match lengths, likes to bowl a little fuller, and pitch was assisting enough today for him to look to shape it away, but the seam hitting the pitch and then the ball nipping back, you can't do much as a batter then.
Well, Michael, I want to talk about Shamsi as well, because I feel he goes a little under the radar. We speak so much about a Kuldeep, a Rashid, an Adil Rashid, Zampa. These are people we speak about so often, but Shamsi comes quietly, does his things. Again, 3 wickets today in a big semi-final.
Yeah, it was easy for him today, because it would all have been set up by the seamers at the start. But you go to Barbados, 10:30 start on Saturday morning, he's going to have a day out. That pitch in Barbados, spin pretty much is the key weapon in anyone's attack. You look at what Adil Rashid's done there. You look at Maharaj and Shamsi in the final. Maybe a bit of Markram will be required on that kind of surface. So, yes, great figures today. He'll be the first to admit that it wasn't the most challenging of days, bowling down the tail end, just bowling those straight deliveries that the Afghanistan batters just kept on putting their pads in the way of. So an easy day for him, nice rewards. But I think for South Africa to win this tournament, I think he's going to have a good day on Saturday, because that pitch is going to be absolutely key to the spinners bowling well.
Well, talking about spinners and a team full of spinners, I think today, well, just a very unfortunate end to their campaign. But Zach, how impressive have they been all through this World Cup?
Oh, they've been very impressive. To beat New Zealand, to beat Australia, it's just something which they're going to take a lot of pride in. And they're growing in confidence. They're growing in belief that they can beat any team. That is something which is very important for them to be successful. Like we've been noticing, you look at their middle order. It's pretty much bowlers who can bat. Once they address that, once they get 2 really good middle order batters, I think that their impact at this level is going to completely change. It's only going to go upwards. You can see this team is on the right track. They've come a long way. Not been around in the international circuit for that long to be able to create this kind of a reputation. So they need to be credited for that. The passion is very evident. They play the game in the right spirit. You see the energy on the field, the want to make it count is there. They just need to fine-tune these aspects. A few years back, we were talking about them having not enough fast bowlers.
Yes.
The spinners were always there. But now you're talking about Naveen-ul-Haq, you're talking about Fazl Farooqi, who is the leading wicket taker in this tournament. So that box is also ticked nicely for them. I think once they sort the batting, they will be able to produce more results consistently.
Michael, like Zach saying, if they can get that middle order batting to kind of fire, if they can get, but besides Naveen-ul-Haq and Farooqi, do you think they're missing out on like real raw pace? We have seen both Naveen and Fazl Farooqi do very well, but do you think they need someone who has that real raw pace?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think batting is probably where they need to shore up a bit more than the bowling. I think this bowling attack will be very competitive. You look at the Champions Trophy in February, Pakistan, pitches will suit this style of bowling. You go back to the next T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka in 2026, again, similar wickets, so I think the attack's going to be fine. For them to go to the next level, now that, we've seen Afghanistan in the 50-over World Cup, tremendous. Nearly made the knockout stages at the end. Lost to Australia here in Mumbai, but should have won that game. Made the semi-final, so the progression is really good. For them to go again, I just think they need to find a couple of quality batters. And also make sure that underneath this group, which is quite an experienced group now, they've got another generation coming through. So then what does it happen? You look at Bangladesh, they're now going to have to go through transition.
Yes.
So I don't think they've brought in the youngsters quick enough, Bangladesh, so they're going to have to go through a transitional period. I look at Afghanistan, just learn the lessons and make sure that you're always bringing a few younger players into the group to get them a little bit of experience, and particularly experience around this quality group, and in particular Rashid Khan. I'd want as many young players in Afghanistan around Rashid Khan, because he's just got an incredible mentality for the game, and they're just two real high class. Except if you had the dream world for Afghanistan, you'd want two outstanding, real potent pace bowlers in that group and two high class middle order batters. If you get those four players into this group of players, they could go all the way and win a trophy.
Zach, Jonathan Trott the other day in the press conference said that they are backing more all-rounders because currently they feel the pool of all-rounders are better batters than their pure batters. So, like Michael's saying, they clearly will want those two specialist middle-order batters.
Exactly. I mean, that's where they're getting stuck. So if you look at currently the middle order, you have Gulbuddin Naib, you have Nabi, you have
Rashid comes in.
Yeah,
yes.
Rashid coming in. You have the Omarzai. So all these guys, they're actually bowlers first, and then they're contributing with the bat. The moment you get someone who is the pure batter, and get to the quality of, or someone who can, sustain at the international level and create that kind of impact and consistency, certainly things will be different. You have right now too many bowling options, and you are expecting them to contribute with the bat.
Yes.
So in challenging conditions, you're going to be left behind. And that is what is happening. Like today's pitch, maybe batting first was not the ideal option for them, but they've gone with their strength, seeing how it's going to benefit for them to set the game up. And they were short. They were nowhere in position to make the play. So you will be behind if you don't have the pure batters.
Yes.
And they'll have to back that. They'll have to change that thinking to maybe, giving someone the long rope, identifying the talent and saying, okay, fine, he might falter for a bit, but if he comes good, it's going to be beneficial for them in the long run.
Well, talking about the long run, let's have a look at what Rashid had to say in the post-match. They clearly have had a great run so far. So let's quickly have a look at what Rashid had to say. He said that we will accept playing a semi-final and losing to a top side like Africa. It's just the beginning for us. We have the confidence and belief to beat any side. We just need to keep our processes. This has been a great learning experience for us. What we take from the competition is the belief. We've seen Michael Rashid show that belief. We've seen the passion that he's had all through even the last previous game. Even today, we could see the passion that Rashid had against Nokia. We could see the little eye exchange. And even when he came out to bowl, we can see the passion they play with. It's just going to be about, like Zach said, fine-tuning these little aspects.
Yeah, I mean, they're not far away. You look at this tournament, they've beaten New Zealand quite convincingly. Beat Australia. In the end, it was quite a convincing win against Australia. So they're certainly on this curve of going up. I guess now the challenge is expectation. Now they've got to this semi-final and they've beaten New Zealand, Australia, good win against Bangladesh. They go to Pakistan in February, and we expect Afghanistan to compete and get to the latter stages of competitions, and then in 2 years' time, in the next World Cup, we'll expect them to be very competitive once again. And I guess, and I don't know why this tournament they've snuck under the radar. And as I said, Brian Lara was the only one that predicted a semi-final place for them, because I think people still see them as this team that's just growing. Now they've done what they've done in this tournament, I think we'll all expect them to produce this kind of magic on a more regular basis, and that can be more difficult. Because I do think for them to go to the next level, they just need a couple more quality players, and if they can somehow find them, and there must be, I mean, in Afghanistan there'll be so many players, there must be a batter. Just find one.
Yes.
Someone to bat at 3 or 4 just can be that rock for them at number 3 or 4, and if they can find one out-and-out express pace bowler, they're going to be very, very competitive.
Well, it is the end of the road for Afghanistan. They've had a great campaign so far, like Zach, Michael are saying, as we are going to see this team for a long time to come. But today's result, we know now who has booked their place in the finals. South Africa will be there at the finals. And then the second big semi-final, which happens later in the day, India versus England. Lots to talk about. We'll quickly have a look at what Matthew Mott had to say in the press conference in context with the India-England game. He said, I think what India has done incredibly well over the last few years is put themselves in semi-final contention. And the flip side to that is when you don't win, people look at that as a negative. We know their players well, they know us well. It literally is going to come down to a couple of bounces of the ball, luck and timing at the right times. Michael, how are you feeling about later this evening?
Well, I've got my fingers crossed for the weather.
Oh, yes.
My scout in Guyana tells me that the forecast from 11 till 3.
A washed-out game gets India
in the final, yeah, which we just don't want that. You just want to... And what you don't want is a 5-over game or a 10-over game, whatever the reduction will be. You want a full 20-over game, and then at the end of the game, you just say the best team won. In a day game, you're not as... I think sometimes in day-night games of T20 cricket, there can be a sway. I don't think there was a sway this evening in the game that we saw, but sometimes you can get a little sway that chasing becomes a little bit easier because the ball skids on. In a day game, the conditions pretty much stay the same. That the pitch will be a little bit slower than it is at night. I would say that probably suits India, particularly with the way that they play. I think that'll suit India. But England are very dangerous, and they've just started to play some decent cricket. They've just started to get a few of their main players. Josh Butler found form in the last game. The bowling attack, pretty much all the England bowlers are in really fine fettle. Chris Jordan in the last game got a hat-trick. Joffrey's been bowling great. Sam Curran's just nipping in. Reece Topley's been a real good tone setter with that first over in particular, and obviously Rashid has been bowling tremendously well. So England are confident. They'll know that they'll have to bring... I think England will have to bring their A game. I really do. I think England will have to have everything go exactly how they would want and plan for to beat an India side. But I go back to the semi-final 2 years ago in Adelaide, where England just blew India out the way. They won by 10 wickets. I don't get a sense it's going to be that kind of day, because I look back at that performance from India and look at the kind of dated game that they played in T20 cricket. They played a waiting game, with the bat in hand. Whereas with Rohit now as skipper, I think England fear this Indian team more than they did the last one, because I just think that they play an expansive game. and Rohit, Suryakumar. I think those two players in particular, England, I wouldn't say they're petrified of, but they know. They know that those two in particular can pretty much win a game on their own. So England will have to bring their A game. They can, because it's a semi-final. They generally are good in knockout games, but I think of all the kind of knockout games England have played in the last 7 or 8 years, I think this is going to be the most challenging.
Well, everyone's excited about this game, and there are questions coming thick and fast on Ask CB. So let's have a look at what Vivan Shah has to ask us. He said England have faltered against top quality bowling sides, Australia and South Africa. Vivan, you missed that expression that Michael had there. We'll get it back to you. But does this make India favourites going into the semi-final? Zach?
Well, you look at actually England's batting lineup. It's a strong batting lineup. But they have been unpredictable this tournament, also because of the conditions. You know, the pitch conditions in this tournament has not given luxury to the batters to be able to put up those kind of numbers. You know, so that's one thing which is which has been challenging. When you look at looking at the Indian bowling lineup, you know, it's looking like a very well-rounded bowling lineup. You know, you have awkward action of Bumrah to deal with. You have Ashdeep, who is been among the wickets. You have the spin trio, which has been very consistent. Ravindra Jadeja is the only guy right now, you know, who's waiting for that opportunity, maybe looking to make that impact. And when you're comparing it to the England bowling lineup, it's actually not. It's looking a little weaker as compared to the Indian batting lineup. So I feel it is going to be the battle of how the English batters cope up with the challenge of Indian bowling lineup, and if whoever comes on top is going to be the deciding factor for this game in the evening.
Well, there is too much excitement for the evening game, and I've given a choice. I have Zach and Michael. I can go on and on, but I think we'll keep that excitement, the questions for the evening. So you all also keep writing in with all your questions, and I'll try and get in as many answers as I can. Before we wrap up, I want to quickly have a look at what Rabada said, because he had to say something. He said that we wanted to come out and hit our straps. It was about doing your best every game, and we believe this is a team that can win a World Cup. So Rabada, clearly the South Africans, we spoke about this, Michael, that they don't want the pressure of the previous generations to fall on them. They're seeming very confident. They're seeming like a team that thinks that they've got this under the belt. Yeah,
I mean they've done better than the previous generation. They're in the final, and they've coped with the semi-final with ease. Again, I look at the South Africa team, and I'll always say, why should previous performances affect this team? And I'm pretty sure that's what the psychologists will be saying to this group of South African players, that you know, what's gone in the past should not affect what happens on Saturday morning in Barbados. You know, it's just down to the team producing skill. You know that when you get to a final, you'll be playing obviously England or India, and I'm pretty sure South Africa know that they're not going to get a game like they've just had. You know, yes. I think they've just kind of walked a semi-final. I can't believe you can walk a final. I think they'll know that they'll have to bring you know, their best performance, and if they can, and I think they are a team that if they perform as well as they can, the opposition will have to play exceptionally well to beat South Africa, because they've got everything. They've got all the power. They field really well. Got a really calm captain. They've got good left-hand, right-hand combinations, and with the ball in hand, they've got everything, and also they've got everything for a Barbados pitch.
Yes.
You know, with all the good spin options. Maharaj is a wonderful spinner. Shamsi is very handy as well, and then they've got a little bit of Markram, but also then you've got Rabada, who's full of experience, and he knows how to bowl on slow wickets. You know, he's played a lot in the IPL, so he knows exactly how to bowl. Janssen, he's very, very skillful. The one bowler, I guess, Nokia, I think on a slowish pitch in Barbados, he might be bizarrely the bowler that teams might look to target. You know, that kind of pitch, you can use the pace, and that'll be something that he'll have to try and work on, maybe a couple of slow ball variations, but they're playing great. They're playing great, and they're in a final. And the South African rugby team, as I said before, they know how to win a World Cup. They've done it on a couple of occasions. Can the cricket team follow?
Well, we'll find out if South Africa can crack the World Cup final code, but let's see if we can crack the joy factor today. Let's have a look at the joy factor question of the day. Which unfortunate cricketing list did Jeffrey Boycott first join, in which Sachin Tendulkar has 3 entries while Rohit Sharma is the last Indian entrant?
Out first ball in a game? No?
Nah, I don't think so. Let's have a look at the answer.
No idea.
Getting dismissed on 99 in an ODI. Well, I know that the master has gotten out 18 times in the 90s, so I don't know, 3 of them come in ODIs. It's just painful, but that's how it is. Let's have a look at who the winner is for today. Roman, Super Roman is the winner. You really are Super Roman to get this answer so early in the morning. Do share your superpowers with us to answer the joy factor question as well. We were not super in the guessing game at all, but
No one was.
No one got that.
Kind of a game.
no one got that. And I had, Gaurav Kapoor, if you're watching, I had given this chance of putting you up at the number 1 position, but I'm really sorry. I think he missed by 2 balls as well, because it's a 3-ball difference. So
Did he have a prediction?
he did. He had a prediction of 9.2 on our WhatsApp.
I think that's right, though, isn't it? Because it was 8.5.
Was it 8.5?
I think it was 8.5. So I think GK might have won. I think he's won from his sofa at home.
Yeah, when it's not working is one.
It doesn't count. He's not in the studio.
Okay, GK, in case you have one fair and square, then I think we need to have a committee with everyone on that side. I'm a fair and square player. I think you can go up at the top because I've said it on live television, but we need permission from Simon, Joyda, PP, Zach, DK, Michael, Harsha. Oh, it's a long list, GK. But if we get permission from all of them, I think we can see GK up at number 1 just for waking up at 7 a.m. and getting a prediction right.
I'm really tumbling down that league.
Let's give him the last position.
Give GK the last position.
Yeah.
GK, you've heard it. You've heard it from your friend
Number
Zach.
1 from the bottom.
Yeah, well, GK returns this evening on the Hindi show. Michael, you will be returning. Zach,
Yes.
you will be returning as well. So we all have our chances to go a little higher up, because it's just going to be 4 more chances that we have to figure out where we stand on our
We
prediction.
might have to.
I'm going higher if India is batting first.
We might have to guess the amount of millimeters of rain in Guyana.
No, I hope.
I hope not. I hope
Actually,
not.
it doesn't matter. The pressure will be on England team then, in that scenario.
The sledging has started. I'm liking this already. It's 9 a.m. and we can see the Indian pace attack sledging away the batting lineup here for England. We'll see what happens in the evening, because things are getting heated up. But I want to keep this excitement for the evening. Michael, I think you can go have a nice big breakfast.
Yes,
Maybe
gonna
Zach can
chill.
feed us all at his house, and we'll see you all both in the evening. And we'll keep this sledging and excitement all ready for the evening. So do join us in the evening at 7:30 p.m. We'll see you all there.